there, fellow hungry travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Cartagena, Colombia, and today we're going to talk about are the things you need to eat when you come here to Colombia, because honestly, there's some fantastic food when you're here, from the meats to the insane amounts of soups to arepas, which you're going to have when you're here. And arepas, if you're not sure, this is one of those things you're definitely going to have multiple times when you're here in Colombia. And arepa, think of it like a cornbread, but not cornbread as in cornbread you think of home. Think of it more like a tortilla kind of thing. And that is going to be with a lot of meals. It'll be a side dish. It could be for breakfast. It could be for lunch. It could be its own meal. And there's a lot of different versions of it. You can have it plain, right? And I find it the thinner the better. But you could have with arepa de queso, which is basically arepas with cheese in the middle, and they love their cheese here, which I'll talk about. But also they have arepa de huevo, where they make it with the tortillas in there, and they like put an egg in there and cook it.
So this is arepa de choclo. It's kind of sweet. It's not a salty cheese. It's good. I love the texture too. I see myself eating a lot of these this week.
This is one of those things that local Colombians, they might just have an arepa for dinner, but it will be a side dish all the time. So arepas, don't be anti-arepa when you come here, because honestly, it is like the most Colombian food you're gonna have when you're here. Another thing you need to realize when you come here, you'll notice that a lot of times avocados pop up, because avocados are a thing here. So you'll see it as a side dish. You'll see it as guacamole with your patacones. You will see it grilled at somebody's, party and stuff like that. If you go to a barbecue, it is a thing here. And so you'll see that. But one thing I think you really need to realize is actually soups are super big here. And I'll talk about breakfast soups later, but some of the bigger soups you're gonna have when you see here, if you're in Bogota, you're gonna ajiaco. Now, ajiaco is basically a chicken potato soup you'll have. That's a very famous one that you'll have there. I think in other parts of the country as well, but sancocho, if you're in like Bogota and Medellin, it's gonna be meat and potatoes soup right there, and there'll be some stuff on the side, but that's the main thing there. But if you're here in Cartagena, instead of the meat, like the beef and stuff they put in there, it's gonna be fish, and so you'll have that. But sancocho, something you really have to have when you're here. But like the soups that you're gonna have, the caldos you're gonna have, it's very much a thing, and you want to make sure you have that. And another thing you want to make sure you have that's a warm thing is chocolate con queso, which is hot chocolate where they rip up cheese and put it in the hot chocolate. I know it sounds crazy, like why would I put cheese in my hot chocolate? But honestly, it's fantastic. That mix of the sweet and the savory just works so well together. And when you're here, you're gonna notice when you go to different parts of the country, there's definitely different types of food when you're here. Like here in Cartagena, they have the arroz con coco, which I'll talk about later, the coconut rice. But when you're in like Bogota, they love their meat, and more meat. So you have all these different things you can have when you're here, because it really is a different, it's not just the biomes that are different everywhere around this country, it's also the food. Now, another thing that's gonna pop up a lot on your plate are patacones. And what patacones are is basically you smash a banana and you fry it, and then you smash it again and fry it again. And it's like almost like a thick banana chip, or more like a banana plant, like a banana tortilla almost you'll have. And sometimes it'll be big and they'll put meat in it or cheese on it, or sometimes you just have it plain and it comes as a side, and that's something you're really gonna like. You might share it with your friends. And I gotta tell you, if you're looking for something to share with your friends when you're here in Colombia, it's fritanga. And fritanga, it's basically all these different grilled meats together or fried meats together, and you have that and you share it with friends. And a lot of places here, you can't order it by yourself. They'll say it's like, oh no, it's for two people. And the thing is, you'll have different meats that'll pop up on it wherever you go. But if you're in like Bogota, they have like intestine meat. So be aware of that. That kind of shied away for it. I like it better here in Cartagena, because it didn't have the intestine stuff in there. But if you like the intestines, it can be pretty good. But if you don't, be aware of that. Oh, also fritanga sometimes is called picada as well, like little pick on it kind of things. So they have that as well. What do you think?
Okay. Kind of rubbery.
Now, one of my favorite things to have when you are here, it's kind of like a stew, but a casserole, cazuela de moriscos. So seafood casserole, or basically what you'll have is like clams and shrimp and, calamari in there, and this cream sauce. It's so good. Oh my God, it's so good. And then on the side, they'll have the coconut rice, the patacones as well. That's one of my favorite things to have. And if you're near the coast, or even if you're not near the coast, so good. And when I talk about different things around the country, like if you're in Bogota in the mountains, you're gonna have obviously more meat than the seafood kind of things. And like in Bogota, you'll see a lot of places that'll have like carne in the name, like Andres de carne, which is like Andres of meat. And you'll have lomo, which is beef. You have porco or cerdo, which is pork. You have pollo, which is chicken. Like the grilled meats here are really good in the mountains. If you're near the coast, stick to the fish. And I'll talk about the fish later because, my God, there's so many good fish dishes you can have when you're here. So one thing you need to realize, when you come here to Colombia, they do eat a little bit different. One thing I talked about, they love their soups, but you need to realize soup can be for breakfast. Yes, I know I talked about the changua, which is like the egg and cream and bread soup. I talked about that earlier, but just getting to caldo de res, caldo de pescado, like basically like beef broth, a rib broth soup, or a chicken soup, or a fish soup kind of thing is a very normal, no gracias señor, is very normal to have that for breakfast. Like that is their thing. Soup is a breakfast thing. Another thing that's for breakfast are tamales. And now when you think of tamales like from Mexico, there's a small ones, just the corn. Those are called envueltos here. Envueltos, just the small little ones that look like you see, in Mexican restaurants in the U.S. But here, if you get a tamales, that's usually like, it looks like a bomb, like a leaf bomb, and inside it'll have the cornmeal, it'll have meat and vegetables in it too, so that could be another good breakfast thing to have. Obviously cheese, which is very big. You'll see cheese on your breakfast thing here, little buns and little breads and things. So that's kind of a common little breakfast thing to have. But here the big meal is at lunch. So I want you to realize that when you're meeting friends, you want to go eat, lunchtime, that's the big meal, not dinner time. And some kind of the heavier plates you might want to have, and I love it because they call them platos fuertes, the strong plates, the main dishes. Some of you might see, like if you're in Bogota, they love meat, okay? Like meat's a big thing. Lomo, which is beef, pollo is chicken, porco cerdo is pig. I mean, there's all kinds of pork chops, steaks, all kinds of stuff. You can do that and don't feel bad about eating. You think in Colombia, I should be having like Caribbean food and stuff. Yeah, they eat their meats here too. Also the fish here. Like if you're here in Cartagena, oh my gosh, you cannot pass up the fresh fish. Fried fish is fantastic, but if you're going to get pargo, which is snapper, they've got tilapia here, it's fantastic. And when you get the fish here, when you get in Cartagena, get the arroz con coco, the coconut rice. Oh my God, it is amazing. That's one of the dishes. If you take anything home and put it in your like reserve of food you want to eat every day back home, it's going to be the arroz de coco, the coconut rice. And it's made a lot of different ways. I think it's almost like fried rice with coconut in it, and there's so many different versions. There's no one version. Like everywhere you go is going to have a different version, and they're all fantastic. And if you're here in Cartagena and you have the fish, you get the fresh fish of the day, it will usually come with arroz de coco and plantains, the smashed plantain, banana kind of things, chips, they'll have that. I mean, it's so good, you're gonna have that. But if you're looking for fish, like up in Bogota, it's trucha or trout. That's very popular there. And of course, there's another popular fish dish. You do have the ceviche here, especially in Cartagena. It's very popular. You have the white fish in there with the tiger milk and stuff. I mean, I had some here, it's just fantastic. Shrimp cocktail, which I know sounds simple, but honestly, if you're here in Cartagena, you're along the coast, get the shrimp cocktail, the cócteles de camarón. Well worth it when you are here. And there's one little side thing I need to talk about, because I know I talked about arepas at the beginning, but there's another food that shows up all the time as a side dish, main dish, wherever, and it's avocado. Look, they love avocados here. Like if you go to somebody's family barbecue, they might be grilling avocados. Oh, you're gonna get your plantain chips? It might have a dip of guacamole to go with it. So just know, avocados are everywhere here in Colombia. So let's talk about when you go to the restaurants. I think one thing you need to realize is don't expect super fast service when you do go to restaurants here in Colombia. It's definitely much more of a have patience to get your plays, have patience to get to your menu, have patience to order, have patience to get your drinks, have patience to get your food. I mean, the people be friendly, but yeah, service isn't super fast when you're here. And when you're gonna be paying, if you're gonna be paying with a card, they're probably gonna ask you a question. The question is basically, oh, is it from a debit card? Is it from a savings account? Is it from a credit card? And since you're probably using a credit card, make sure you remember credito por favor, which is credit please. I think another important thing to mention when you're at restaurants is usually the tip is included. If you look on your bill, and a reputable place they'll put it on there, it'll say propina. Propina is the tip, and it's usually included, so you're okay there. If you want to tip more, you can totally do that. It's not a problem, but I just want to give you a heads up for that because people do bring that one up. I think, as I just see a lady going by. Another thing you need to eat when you're here, I can't believe I forgot to talk about it, obleas. Obleas, you'll see it when you're going around town, and basically it's like these wafers. It's like a wafer, and then they'll put like caramel in it, or they'll put some fruit in it or whatever. But it's basically like a wafer sandwich, a big wafer sandwich. You're gonna have that. And a lot of times what they'll have in the stands, they'll have the oblea, and then they'll have the mango biche next to it, which is basically, I guess it's just mango sticks, but usually there's a little something on them as well. You can have that. Those are kind of standard fare across the country when you're looking at, street food. And also going along with that mango biche, just fruit in general. Like, you're gonna wanna have lots of fruit when you are here in Colombia because there's so much fresh fruit when you're here. And I talk about the drinks earlier and stuff, but honestly, whether you're getting lulo or you're getting, mango, or you're getting watermelon, you're getting whatever, there's so many fantastic fruits that are here. And to go along with that are the drinks that go along with it. Because honestly, limeade, limonada de coco, lulada, there's all these drinks that are mixed with sugar. They're mixed with sugar cane and the limes and the lulos, which are these fantastic fruit. It's like looks like an orange, it's more transparent and tart. I mean, it's just fantastic. And I actually have a whole video on the drinks of Colombia because there's so many drinks you need to have here. But honestly, the jugo, the juices, you always want to have that. Or you can get like the smoothie versions of them. But there's so many great drinks when you're here. Cholao, which is basically like a fruit cocktail and condensed milk put together. Oh my God, it's so good. You can have that. But honestly, my favorite is lulada, which is basically limeade with those lulos mixed together. It's so sweet, so wonderful. The little tartness from the lulos. You gotta have that when you're here. At least one time, get a lulada, okay? And then you get the spirits that are here. Yes, rum is very popular, but aguardiente, that is the local spirit. You wanna have that. And if you have a reflajo, which is basically Colombiana soda and beer with aguardiente, that's got a little kick to it. You can make some friends when you're drinking that around town. And yes, there are local beers. Club Colombiana is one of the beers I like. Aguila is a very light beer. That's nice. There's a lot of local beers you're going to get when you're here. You can get international beers, but save yourself the money and drink the local beer. It's pretty good. And if you don't want alcohol, they do have some really good sodas that are here. Colombiana soda, which is basically like I don't know if it's tamarind. It's more of a rooty kind of flavored soda. They have that. It's a good mixer with a lot of stuff. Postobon, which is a local brand of soda. Kind of think of like Fanta. All kinds of different fruit flavors, whether you want grape or apple or whatever, they have that. That's nice. I know some people wonder about the tap water, and in the big cities, you can drink the tap water. It's okay, brush your teeth, do all that. Might not taste so great, but it is doable. If you're in the rural areas, stick to bottled water in general. And when you're here, always be hydrated. Always have a water bottle with you. I have one in my backpack because you need to stay hydrated in this heat. But honestly, go watch our videos on the drinks of Colombia. It's gonna help you know what to drink and enjoy when you're here, from the cocktails to the juices to everything. But anyway, I just want to give you a rough overview of some of the things you should eat and a few things to drink when you do come here to Colombia. Obviously, I forgot a few things because there's so much great food here and really regional dishes. Where you go, you're gonna have different stuff because it's not just the biodiversity that changes when you go around the country, it's the culture and the food as well. So go and enjoy the food you're here in Colombia. If you have other things we need to make sure people have, put in the comments below, and we hope we all can have a great time here in Colombia. And I'll say bye from here in Cartagena.